Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to talk more about the issues I had with my debit card information being stolen and used for multiple purchases in the US. Things I've learned about how to prevent that thanks to a lot of you viewers who commented down below. Issues about how to protect yourself over here in Philippines banks and much more. Stick around. Alright guys, so I wanted to say first thank you for all the comments. There's a lot of great suggestions and a lot of things were pretty common sense that I really didn't even think of, and honestly you guys kind of woke me up to it. And one was, if you haven't seen the video, you guys can check it out up above, but what happened is I believe it happened through PayPal because I got a notification from PayPal in the PayPal wallet where you can store your debit card and stuff for purchases. They notified me and said, you've had several attempts to use your card and we've locked it, or we've blocked it. And I didn't think that it was an issue. I thought it was just PayPal, and it seemed like they took steps to prevent it. Now this was late at night. I had got up to use the bathroom and I saw this notification on my phone. So I woke up in the morning and I checked my bank account, and I had 3 charges from DoorDash back in the US, a food delivery service. So obviously the hacker was somebody probably I had to be in the US. They were ordering food, delivery in the US. So it had nothing to do with somebody in the Philippines stealing my debit card. It was probably from the US. So I had immediately turned off my card, blocked the card online, called up my bank, USAA, and arranged to have a new card delivered out. And again, luckily I had a backup. I had my Navy Federal Credit Union, so my trip to Japan won't be any issues at all. And so the mistake though, and a lot of people have told me this since then, and I just never thought of it ever affecting me because it's never happened to me. It's never happened to me. But I've had my bank debit card tied to a lot of different things online, for like automatic payments and things like that. And I've decided from this point on, I went and deleted it all off. And I now, for anything that I need to have set up on a renewal basis with a card, I'm just using my credit card. And much easier, they got the zero fraud type thing. Much easier to dispute and not be charged in fraudulent charges. Now luckily my bank did reverse the charges. They found it fraudulent activity. They've sent my new card. I've got refunded, so all is good. But it has taught me, don't use your debit card here except strictly to really go to the ATM to withdraw money. If you want to use your card for purchases, then use like a credit card. And to be honest, again, Philippines is mainly still a cash society. And so withdrawing money and using it for cash, or you could use a Wise account to transfer money into your Philippines bank, or in my case, I use GCash, and you can transfer money into GCash. Now, I wouldn't recommend storing a large sum of money in GCash. Really only use what you're going to spend for the week or something, and then send more. Don't use it to store a lot of money. Not a good idea, because I have heard of people end up missing money there as well. So I only send enough to cover spending for the week, or groceries or things like that, or use cash. So from now on, again, I will not use my debit card online. I'm going to strictly just use my credit card for those types of things. I have learned my lessons. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, why in your last video did you mention the Philippines bank? And I'm going to go ahead and talk about that, about my experience and even my wife's experience with banks here in the Philippines, and why I say don't put a lot of money into it, or even really don't use it to have your deposits, like your pension or things like that, put into it. Hi guys, I also want to take a second to mention my friend Mike Ross and how he can help you on your move to the Philippines. Now, if you are moving out to the Philippines and you are looking to buy a property or rent a property, Mike Ross can help. He has multiple properties himself in the Philippines, and so if you can contact him if you're interested in renting or buying a property in the Philippines. So he could put you in touch with top agents in the U.S. and also the Philippines here. He's got extensive overseas experience and can match up with an agent specific to your needs. Reach out to him directly so he can help you find that property here in paradise. You can see his contact information on the screen. Go ahead and pause it. You can get his U.S. phone number or his email. Either will work to contact him. And he's a retired U.S. Marine with more than 20 years of service. So if you need help renting or buying out here in the Philippines, contact Mike Ross. Back to the video. So what I had mentioned about Philippines banks, I'll mention my own experience, then I'll mention some other reasons. But for example, just real quick, when I had disputed it with USAA, within a few days, literally 3 days, they've already refunded my money back. I've got a new card being mailed out. I could have had it overnighted, but there was no need for that because I have a second bank account. And a similar incident, kind of, not really, it wasn't a fraudulent type activity, but there was an incident that happened where I had booked a hotel on Agoda. And I got double charged for it, and I was using my Philippines bank. And I'm not even going to mention the bank because it really doesn't matter. It could happen to any of them as far as I know. And anyway, I called up Agoda because I figured it was Agoda. And they said, no, it's not coming from us. We just have one charge. It's got to be coming from your bank. So I went to the bank. I had literally moved from one side of town to the other side of town in Cebu. And they go, no, we can't help you. You have to go to the branch where you opened it. And I'm like, because in the U.S. you could really, if you had Bank of America, for example, you could go to any Bank of America and they can help you. But not here in the Philippines. You got to go to the specific branch of where you open up the bank account. Now that could be problematic if I had moved to another city, like from Cebu to Davao. You're telling me I would have had to flown all the way back to Cebu to get it taken care of? Apparently so. So anyway, it wasn't a huge deal because I was still living in Cebu. I went down there and they told me, okay, we will investigate it. And I'm thinking, okay, I said, what's the next steps? And they said, we'll investigate it in about 3 to 4 months. We will update you. And if we find it to be our fault, then we would refund the money. And I'm thinking to myself, 3 to 4 months? Are you kidding me? It ended up now taking about 6 or 7 weeks, which is still kind of a ridiculous amount of time. So in about 6 or 7 weeks, they refunded the money. They found it was their fault. They double charged us. So I did get my money back, but it took 7 weeks. Now imagine if you would have had some kind of fraudulent activity where somebody had gotten hold of your debit card number or something, and they had went through and purchased all these things. I wouldn't be too confident on them being able to solve the problem. In fact, I spoke to my wife and she told me that if that happens here in the Philippines, they do not refund your money. They just say, well, it's your fault. And they don't refund the money. Now, somebody can speak on it and comment down below and tell me differently if they want, but my wife has told me that's how they handle it. She's known people who it's happened to. Even my wife, she has a Malaysian bank. She prefers to keep most of her money there. Higher interest rates. The rates here are very low. I've heard of more expats who had like their Social Security or their VA disability or pension going into a Philippines bank, and I don't really understand why. Because if you have some kind of an issue, you are much more likely to get it resolved quickly and efficiently and have better customer service, to be honest, in the US or Australia or the UK or wherever. Here, things move really slow, and this is not the type of society that just refunds your money. I mean, you go into a restaurant and you have a bad meal, do you think they refund your money? No. In the US, if you have a horrible meal and you complain to the manager, guess what? They comp it. They don't want you to spread, they don't want bad business. They want you not to tell people, oh, you had a horrible meal, don't go here. No. In here, they don't seem to care. And at the banks, if you had something really go wrong, they're in no hurry to help you. And meanwhile, you're stuck without your pension coming in for whatever reason, I don't know. So for me, it just makes more sense keeping your money in your bank of your home country. Have a Philippines bank? Sure. But again, use it almost like a Gcash account. Just use it for your monthly living expenses, groceries, rent, or things like that. So that's just my opinion on it. Again, multiple ways to have access to your money, different banks, cash remittance, Wise account, Gcash, just a bunch of different methods. So if something happens, your life continues really without being interrupted. And also have cash on hand, have maybe at least enough for a month or two. Because I remember when I had the typhoon hit back in Cebu, there was no money around anywhere. You could not even, there was not even an ATM working for weeks and weeks, none. And it wasn't until I finally went to Davao. I skipped from Cebu all the way to Davao and was able to withdraw money again. And luckily I had cash kept in my condo at that time, just in case of an emergency. And an emergency happened and I was all set. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Again, if you're moving out to the Philippines and you're looking to rent or buy, contact Mike Ross. Here's his information again, his email and his US phone, and he would be glad to help you out. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see everyone next time. Ciao.